kissed my cheek. And then I saw the tears welling up in her troubled eyes when she started to speak. She looked at a pitiful shack and then she looked at me and took a ragged breath. She said, your paws rubbed off and I'm real sick and the baby's gonna starve to death. She handed me a heart-shaped locket that said, to thine own self be true. And I shivered as I watched the rose fall across the toe of my machine. Sounded like somebody else was talking, asking, Mama, what do I do? She said, just be nice to the gentleman, Fancy. They'll be nice to you. She said, here's your one chance, Fancy, don't let me down. Here's your one chance, Fancy, don't let me down.
Yeehaw! Welcome to a very special podcast. This is the podcast where we watch your favorite TV shows from yesteryear and then discuss them over a glass of wine. Although, I think we're doing a format change for this one.
Or it's like Bizarro World, where you don't have wine, but I do.
Oh, yeah, you're right. So, normally, as I said, this is the podcast where we watch all your old TV shows and then discuss them over a glass of wine, but I'm not drinking out of a glass of wine, and we're not watching a TV show.
No, we're going wild on this one.
To the wild, wild west. Not really. Well, I'm thinking country western. Does that count?
Yeah. You're trying.
I'm just trying to throw these puns out there that aren't working. But
We're being fancy. That's what we're being.
yeah.
Well, I'm being fancy with my champagne.
I'm not being fancy. But if this is your first time at the rodeo, I'm Patrick M. Dunn. You might remember me from like the previous 17-ish episodes of the podcast. And I'm joined here by the accomplished author, Kat Halstead, who just recently published a book.
Yes. The final book of the Hello Again series, Always You. Available at Amazon, Barnes & Noble, Smashwords, all those places.
Basically anywhere on the internet where you can buy a book, except for eBay.
Pretty much.
Are they on eBay?
No. Not on eBay.
Craigslist?
No.
Someday. We're working on it. It'll be like a mist.
You can even go to your local bookstore and put in a special order for it if you really wanted to.
Oh, you can get a print copy?
Yeah.
Didn't we discuss this before?
I think we did. I think we've discussed this before. All my books are available in print.
Paperback? Hardback?
Paperback.
So you got some swanky cover art?
Yes, I do. They're all up on my website, cathalstead.com.
Yeah, so peep the website if you can. And we always forget to do the housekeeping. So you can find this podcast on iTunes.com or the iTunes app or program, however you get there. I mean, if I say iTunes and you don't know how to get there, then there's probably something wrong with you. Or you can just go right to our website too. We have we have a link to download the MP3, then we have like a video grab of it. And it's a very special podcast.tumblr.com.
Yes, and that'll take you to iTunes, YouTube, direct links to the episodes, so.
Oh yeah, I forget we're on YouTube. So like you make these like special YouTube videos too. So we have like subscribers. We have like we decided today that we have a total of 8. If you don't count us, there's 6, right?
Yes, if you don't count each of us subscribing to our own podcast. We have 6 subscribers on YouTube. I think that's pretty cool because I didn't go searching for any of these people. I could tell you who 2 of them are. I know who 2 of them are.
So you mean us or 2 other people that follow it?
2 other people that subscribe to us on YouTube. I know who they are.
Okay, so like you have like friends. How do you see the subscribers? I don't think I know how to do this stuff.
There is, when I go into the analytics,
yeah,
I can look up who the subscribers are, and it'll tell me like if they're a person who's public with their subscriptions, it'll tell me their name. Like I think there's 1 or 2 that aren't public, so I have no clue who they are.
Oh, that's lame.
But like 2, like one's my friend from college. Hey Joe, what up? And then one's my friend Stephanie. I was a bridesmaid in her wedding. Hi, Steph.
Awesome. And is the Dairy Fairy a subscriber of the podcast?
I don't think the Dairy Fairy is.
Does he listen? Did he listen to his episode?
I don't think he has. I'm gonna text him right now.
Alright, so in case you're new to the show, which you may be, we occasionally have questions, you know, sometimes we go on Google, but we try to have like specialists out there that we like of specific categories that we can reach out to. And we have a friend of the show who is really into milk and dairy products. We have nicknamed him the Dairy Fairy, but he might have nicknamed himself that. I can't remember the rules.
Actually, he nicknamed himself that.
So
years ago when he worked in the dairy case.
So he worked in the dairy case at a local grocer in somewhere, I don't remember. Durango, Colorado, and he knows everything about milk, cheese, yogurts, and even like non-dairy things. Like he knew my question about almond milk, so...
Yeah, he works in a grocery store.
Yeah.
So I hope he knows a lot of things.
But sadly, we found out he doesn't work in the dairy section anymore.
No, but he'll always be the Dairy Fairy to me.
Do we know where he works? Bread?
Yeah, but I'm not going to put that out there.
Oh, okay. Is he a cashier?
No, he is not.
Deli?
No, he works...
Stock boy?
He actually goes through and puts in the pricing for all the stock.
Oh, he's a pricing coordinator.
Mm-hmm.
So if we have any dairy...
At least I think that's what he does.
Okay. Well, it's not important.
Yeah.
It's not important. So anyway, in case you haven't read the description of this episode, we are not doing a TV show this week. We are tired of sitcoms. We are tired of our 2-part hour-longs. We just, you know, Tom Selleck's mustache.
Magnum and his magnificent mustache burned us out.
It just burned us out. So we're like, you know what, we need... Actually, we were originally going to do Reba the TV series. But
yes.
For some reason, we decided that we were long overdue. And by long overdue, like 6 episodes for a music video.
Well, I realized we've only done one music video, but we've done a couple movies, a ton of TV shows. I was like, maybe it's time to do another music video and change it up.
Yeah, sometimes they're fun. You know, you get it's a short story. If you pick the right video, you get a little. It's like a mini movie, basically.
Exactly.
We did Thriller previously, which literally was a mini movie. It was like a 10-minute epic, I guess is what you call it. Yeah. So
actually, it was more like 15 minutes.
Oh, was it?
Yeah, it was between 10 and 15. It was like a good chunk of time.
Yeah, we had voices in it. It was an amazing...
Oh god, not the voices.
But this week we decided to I don't know why, but we decided to go for a country western theme.
Well, okay, so because Thriller was like a little mini movie, I was thinking, what other music videos are like mini movies? I was like, you know who does really theatrical music videos that have a story and they look like mini movies is Reba McEntire. I was like, Fancy. Fancy is the song to do.
So you unleash this upon me, and you're like, we're going to do Fancy. And I was like, I don't even know what you're talking about. So I'm thinking, like, I know there's that Iggy Azalea song, Fancy, but I don't really think it's like a mini movie. But so I don't know what the hell you're talking about. So then you're like, no, Reba McEntire. And I'm like, I don't know what this is. I have no idea what this song is. I don't know anything about it. You're like, how do you not know Fancy? It was like a top 10 country hit in 1991. And
yeah, it's like it's her signature song. I was confused that you had never heard of it. So I asked my boyfriend, and he's like, no, I don't know what you're talking about. And I'm like, Fancy by Reba McEntire. I showed him the music video. He's like, yeah, I've never heard that before. I'm like, you grew up in Colorado and you've never heard this song before? I refuse to believe that.
See,
I understand you not hearing it and me not hearing it growing up because we grew up in not country areas.
Country music eluded me as a child and a teenager and pretty much like now, basically. Like, I honestly, like, I knew names. I knew country music names. I knew Garth Brooks. But I don't think I knew any songs. Maybe by accident, I might have seen an episode of Beavis and Butthead where they watched a Garth Brooks song, but I can't even be sure of that.
Yeah, well, I didn't grow up with much country music either. Like, you knew the big names, you knew who Garth Brooks was. Everybody, I think, knows Dolly Parton.
I know she is. She has like big boobs and stuff, but I don't.
Oh my God, you're killing me, Patrick. You're killing me.
I didn't know she was a singer. I just thought she was an actress. And she's
a singer. Okay, have you seen the movie 9 to 5?
Yeah, I've seen 9 to 5.
Okay, you know the song 9 to 5?
From the soundtrack?
Yeah.
Okay.
That's Dolly Parton.
Okay, all right. So
she also sang the original version of "I Will Always Love You."
Okay, I think I knew that. I think I knew, but I don't think I ever heard it.
Yeah. That's the thing is, we might have known who some country stars were, but we didn't hear their music very often.
Yes, because I was strictly MTV generation. Like, very rarely did I venture outside that zone. Like, maybe...
Wait, when did you start watching MTV?
I don't know. Probably around this time, like 1991, whenever this song came out.
Okay, yeah, I still wasn't allowed to watch MTV yet.
Oh, you were one of those people that like couldn't like.
Yeah.
What were you, like 16 when you started watching MTV?
No, I was 12.
Like TLC Waterfalls.
Yeah, it was before Waterfalls. Like, it was probably around the OJ trial, where there was nothing else on. My mom was like, "Fine, you can watch MTV."
Yeah, like
I can't stop you anymore. You have a TV in your room. Just don't listen to Madonna.
Oh, why not?
I think she was a little too sexually explicit.
Oh, burning crosses.
Yeah, I just know when my cousin Veronica came back from Israel, she stayed with us for a couple weeks in New Jersey before going back to Colorado. And there was like this Madonna extravaganza on MTV. And she was watching it while she was like babysitting me and Mark one day. And she got talking to about it. She's like, they're not allowed to watch Madonna. We don't want them watching Madonna. And it was this big deal that we kind of all got in trouble for watching Madonna.
And like now, like she's pretty tame. If like you look back and you're like, oh yeah, she's pretty tame. Like
yeah,
we just saw like Miley Cyrus like stick her ass in Robin Thicke's penis area like a year ago.
Yeah.
And it's like, oh, Madonna, like she might have like did like a side boob at one point in time. Who knows?
Well, for her time, Madonna was outrageous.
Yeah, I mean, totally.
And
outrageous.
if it wasn't for Madonna doing what she did, Miley would not have been able to twerk on Robin Thicke.
No.
Gaga cannot do 99% of the stuff she does.
Yeah. This. And if it wasn't for Dolly Parton, we wouldn't have had Whitney Houston? No. We would have had Whitney Houston, but we wouldn't have had...
We wouldn't have Whitney Houston. I don't know if she would have had that song. We're here to talk about Whitney or Dolly. We're here to talk about one of the Queen's country, Reba McEntire.
Alright, so...
And her cover of the song, Fancy.
Alright, so we know the song came out in 1991.
Yes.
It was on her album Rumor Has It?
Have you looked up the album cover for it?
I have not. Do I need to? Is it important?
Yeah, you need to. You need to see this. Everybody needs to just go Google this album cover because it is ridiculous.
Alright, so Reba McEntire, Rumor Has It cover?
Yeah.
Alright, so it's like her in like a Kentucky Derby hat. Maybe a nun outfit? What the hell is that?
I don't know what it is. I saw that and I stared at this album cover for a good 5 to 10 minutes today.
Alright,
I was just like, what is this? I don't know what this outfit is.
Alright, so she's wearing like a red blouse. But there's something underneath the blouse that is like, it's covering her neck. Like a turtleneck kind of, but it also covers her, like her head. Like, kind of like a nun would wear. Or a ninja. Maybe a ninja.
Yeah, it's like...
And she's wearing like... And it's the kind of hat you would wear to the Kentucky Derby, basically.
That's like a tame Kentucky Derby hat, too.
Yeah, it's like a long brim hat with like the black sash thing down it. I don't really know what you call that. I'm not up to date on my hats. This is basically Reba McEntire's like millionth album that came out. And by millionth, I mean it was her 17th album. So when did she start coming out with music? Did she do like 2 albums a year? How is this her 17th album? I was mind blown by that.
Actually, yeah, that's a lot. Especially when you consider her first few did not do very well.
So she just kept chugging along.
Chugging along, chugging along. She always wanted to record Fancy. She always wanted to do a cover of it.
And Fancy is a Bobby Gentry song?
Yes.
I don't even know who that is, which is...
And Bobby Gentry was a country... She was a country singer-songwriter who hit it big in 1969, 1970 with Fancy.
Which is the song that we're going to be doing today. So, without further ado, we are going to roll into Fancy, as presented by Reba McEntire. All right, so where do we begin with this? Because there's so much to go.
Okay. Well, the nice thing about this video is it really does tell the story of the song. Because you can get a lot of music videos that tell a story, but it doesn't always fit with the song.
And this is one of the few that does. Plus, they add to it.
Yeah, they really take the song and they enhance it. The story behind it. About it, or whatever.
So, the video opens with the title character. Her name is Fancy, so that's her name. Actually, her full name is Fancy Rae Baker, and she's played by Reba. And she's dressed basically like she's one of the Night's Watchmen from Game of Thrones. She's wearing all black. And she has like one of those, what are those hats? Those flat hats?
Pillbox hat?
Pillbox, like something that like...
But it's like a fur pillbox hat.
Like, it looks like they took like raven wings and made her jacket and her pillbox hat. It's like a Jackie Kennedy hat. Is that what it's? Yeah. Like she should have gone to like a Dynasty fashion show. So the cab's in the outskirts of New Orleans. I believe the song takes place just outside of New Orleans, where Fancy grew up.
Yes, she grew up in New Orleans.
All right, so in like a one-room shack, basically. It's literally just like 4 plywoods plus a ceiling. It like is nothing to it. Like a Unabomber style shack.
Not much structure.
A Unabomber style shack outside of New Orleans.
Yeah, it's rickety. It's falling apart back in the day. It's really bad now when Fancy shows up. After she's had to endure the chatty cab driver on this whole ride talking about how fabulous it is to have Fancy Rae Baker here in town. He never knew she was from town. Blah, blah, blah. And she's just like, dude, shut up.
All right, so Fancy Rae Baker is an actress and a singer, or one or the other?
That's what we believe.
According to Wikipedia, she's a singer.
Wikipedia, that's what Wikipedia says. That was the one question that wasn't really answered in the video that we picked up on right away, so
that was a question that I had. That was a takeaway. So apparently Fancy Rae Baker is a renowned singer / actress, or both. or one or the other. We don't know. And this cab driver is just infatuated with her. His wife is never going to believe this. The one and only Fancy Rae Baker is in the cab, dressed like the Night's Watch from Game of Thrones. And she basically just wants to go to some really bad neighborhood in the outskirts of New Orleans. I guess just, see what's up. We really don't know. She doesn't bring it up. Then she starts like hallucinating.
Like you're driving and you start to like think about the memories, and in her mind she can hear her mother yelling, "Fancy! Fancy!"
And meanwhile, the cab driver is still just yammering away. But you
Yeah,
hear...
he would not shut up. I was about to slap him.
And then she kind of like cuts back to reality, and she's like, "Oh, sorry. I was just lost in my thoughts in my, fancy attire here. I'm just gonna get out for a few minutes, just walk around the shitty shack, and just kind of like see what's going on." And he's like, "Okay, yeah, no problem. After that, can we just take a Polaroid together? And you know what? I'm gonna shut the meter off. I'm gonna shut the meter off." She's like, "Oh, you're so sweet, cab driver." And
yeah, let's be real. She probably could have afforded to have him leave the meter on.
Oh yeah, I'm sure her jacket was probably worth more than the cab that they were driving.
Oh yeah.
So she gets out and she's just kind of like, she's walking around the grounds, kind of like looking around, trying to, figure out what's going on. And through song, we kind of get an idea of what's going on. So, we've learned that she basically lived there as a young child.
Yeah, this was her home. This was where she grew up, in this awful shack with poor mother, no father, because the father ran off.
Yeah, ran off with some floozy.
Probably.
And
someone younger, because the poor mother was sick and old.
Like they show flashes of the mother. She looks like a grandmother.
Yeah, she was not a young woman.
Yeah, well, I mean, she could have been like fertile late into life. So, I mean, I guess.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Who knows? I mean, there is a lot of questions, but basically now it's just this mother, Fancy, who's like a teenager, and a baby are in the mix. There's a baby.
Yeah.
And they're poor. They're basically just like struggling to survive. They probably had to like, I don't even like, how do they like, where do they shop? Like what, like for food? Like what goes on here?
Well, they probably tried to grow what they could. And there's probably like but it wasn't a tiny plot. There's probably like some type of garden on that property where they grew at least what they could.
Like carrots
Maybe
and stuff.
Traded with the neighbors or bought off the neighbors. Something. Who knows?
Bartered. But
because it's not like they could just go to or something.
But the mother was basically saving every dollar she had because she wanted to buy her daughter a sexy red dress.
Yeah, the red dancing dress.
The red dancing dress. So she definitely has some kind of income. So they don't establish what. Like, I don't know, maybe she worked at like a diner, maybe? Some kind of eatery? They make it seem like that they're saving up money to buy Fancy a dress for like a school dance.
Yeah.
Like there's some kind of like spring fling, maybe a prom, homecoming, maybe
graduation kind of thing.
Yeah, but the mother has other things on her mind apparently because she's dying. We learn that she's dying.
Yeah, and she knows she can't take care of it. She's not going to be able to take care of Fancy.
Or the baby.
She's gone. Or the baby. And she doesn't want to stick Fancy with the baby, I guess.
So she's literally just like, you know what? I'm just going to like save up as much as I can.
Yeah.
And buy this fucking dress. And just, she actually gets the dress pretty quickly, apparently. And she models Fancy and she's like, holy shit, you look fucking great. Like, maybe you should just like get another $15. I can take you down to the beauty salon. Maybe we can get your bangs cut. Maybe get a perm. Some extensions.
I don't think they did that back then.
I don't know. So, she basically fancies Fancy up, really, is what happens.
Yeah, she gets Fancy all dressed up. She puts rouge on her, mascara, does her hair up all nice.
And Fancy's like, all right, yeah, I'm ready to go to the school dance, but, I mean, it's in the middle of summer.
Like, I don't understand what's going on, Mama.
Yeah, and she's like, oh, no, you're not going to the school dance. Like, you're going away. Like,
yeah, you're going away. Here's your suitcase.
Yeah, here's your suitcase. This is a car on its way down here right now to pick you up. And she's like, what?
And Fancy is not... And then the mother gives her the locket. Don't forget the locket.
The locket is important, right?
Yeah, the locket is engraved and it says, to thine own self be true.
And what does that mean?
Be true to yourself.
Which Fancy's mom is not true to herself.
No, she's not. But she's dying and desperate.
Yeah, I guess you're right. But
and this is the only thing she knows that will give Fancy a better life.
So she wants
which is really sad.
She wants to give Fancy like a boost. Basically, like someday you're gonna just think that you're an awful person, but you know what? You made it through it, so just be true to thyself. Unless you can say it more poetic.
And it's obvious Fancy does not want to go.
No, because she's like, this is like the only place she knows. Like, I know this one-room shack.
Yeah, she knows this life. She knows... Yeah, she doesn't understand. She's like, what do you mean? If I'm nice to the gentlemen, they'll be nice to me. Like, what?
And then this, like, fancy Lincoln shows up. Like a Lincoln town car. And there's just, it's like a limo driver, basically. It's like, hey, Fancy, you ready to go? And she's like, not really, because I don't know where I'm going.
She tries to fight it. She drops the locket.
Does she drop the locket, or does she rip it off?
I think she, like, rips it off and drops it.
Yeah, she's pissed. She is pissed.
She doesn't want to do this. I don't blame her. I would not want to be, like, forced into prostitution either.
Yeah, and you haven't even announced that yet.
Oh, sorry.
Spoiler alert. So Fancy basically leaves. She waves goodbye to her mom. Her mom dies, like, very shortly thereafter, and the baby goes to, like, the state, basically, and is probably shipped
it goes
off.
to the state of Louisiana.
And Fancy's, like, she's old. She's, like, 18-ish, right?
Yeah, she's supposed to be 18 at this time.
All right, so she's 18. So she's technically she's an adult. So she's gonna go. She's on her own, basically, is what's gonna happen. So Fancy's mom's like, fuck it. I am just gonna throw a Hail Mary and just hope for the best. So she, Fancy's kind of good looking. She's an attractive woman.
She's a pretty young thing. She could probably get a pretty penny.
Yeah, so she buys her this slinky red dress, and she just knows that men will just eat it up. So she basically becomes a whore, really, is what happens. But not like...
Yeah, she becomes a prostitute.
She's not like a streetwalker, though. She's not like given hand jobs for crack money. She's like a high-end hooker.
Yeah, well, I don't think she's exactly like high-end.
Oh, you think
But she's not walking the street. I think she's like... What?
You think she starts at, like, the bottom?
I don't think she starts at, like, the street walking. But I think she kind of starts, like, middle of the road. She doesn't start off, like, high class with kings and dignitaries or whatever.
Yeah, like she...
I think she kind of starts off with the weird guys who are cheating on their wives, or the guys who want to buy their son a hooker for the first time.
Yeah, and she has a few good things going for her. Like, she has all of her teeth.
Yeah, that's important.
That's probably it, really.
She's blonde. She's pretty. She probably has that innocence about her that some women do not.
Yeah, so she probably, like, was in a whore house, like a hotel. The kind that you see on Boardwalk Empire.
Yeah, she was probably in one of those situations where You had your room. You pranced out into the living room in your little nightie or whatever. And John picked which one they wanted. You went up to the room, you serviced them. They leave. Maybe an hour or two later, you do another one.
And then one day, maybe like a Kennedy showed up, and he was like, "Era, I like that one right there." And it was probably like her ticket out of there.
Yeah, there was like a guy who showed up and decided that he wanted Fancy all for himself. Put her up in a 5-room hotel suite. And I think she was his mistress for a while. And, she was able to open some doors and become an actress and have whatever lovers she wanted.
That is a big, big leap, though.
Well, she was probably got a little more high-class call girl. I'm sure she was still turning tricks, let's be real. But once you do, a Kennedy, can you really go back to doing, Joe Blow?
Yeah, well, she could have been I guess she could have been a Marilyn Monroe type. That could
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking, is she's kind of in that
category.
Yeah.
Yeah, so she's probably the Marilyn Monroe type. She started off, she was kind of this, sassy, sexy little blonde thing, doing presidents and stuff, and then she's like, you know what, I want to be an actress. I want to move to the pictures. And she probably got...
and if, she was sleeping with, a movie producer or studio head.
Like a Roman Polanski.
Oh, let's not go there.
She was, the one after Sharon Tate. God. He's like, I'm going to make you a star. And she's like, where do I know you from? And he's like, you don't. Rosemary's Baby? Was that him?
You can't see it, but I'm just, head desking. Is the best way to put what I'm doing right now.
But she caught her big break somewhere. We don't know where, but she caught her big break. Maybe she was in, the fictional version of Star Wars that, takes place in this universe.
Okay. Probably not Star Wars. Because I think the story takes place during the 30s.
Oh. No, because it's she's totally driving it in a modern day cab in the beginning of the movie.
It's not that modern. It looks like it's probably maybe the 50s.
Okay, so she was probably in The Sound of Music, maybe? You
realize that came out 50 years ago now, so that was the 60s.
Okay, maybe she was in The Wizard of Oz or Gone with the Wind.
She was probably in South Pacific or Oklahoma, something like that. Let's just say that.
I wonder if she blew Errol Flynn. What is his name?
Oh my god! Oh my god! Oh my god!
Well, you can't pick a music video about a prostitute and not expect me to say that.
They don't show a prostitute, though. We just... They just talk about it. It's all...
But
if you're nice to the gentleman, Fancy, they'll be nice to you.
She rose...
So accept what gifts they give you.
She rose out of that though. She accomplished her demons. She vanquished her demons, not accomplished. Yeah. She vanquished her demons. And she's like, you know what? I'm a star now. She's like, I don't give handjobs. I'm an actress. I'm a singer. I'm a dancer. I wear pillbox hats and jackets made out of crow feathers.
It's a fur coat. It's not a feather jacket.
It looks like feathers to me. Like, it looks like she was wearing crow feathers. I don't know. I blame it on the YouTube video that I watch. It's like a tiny screen.
You know you can maximize those to full screen, right?
Yeah, but I never like to do it. I like to look at it and I like to multitask.
Okay.
Right. So she basically she's entertained kings. She's charmed aristocrats. She's been with governors, senators, presidents. You name it. Errol Flynn. You name it. And now it's years.
Let's be real. If she was with somebody, she was probably with Frank Sinatra at some point.
Yeah. Old blue eyes. Yeah, he might have had eyes for her. Dean Martin.
Oh, I'm sure. Oh, yeah.
Yeah. And it's years later. She's put all that behind her. She's put all that behind her. She's moved on. And I don't know, maybe she was like on tour in New Orleans one weekend, and she's like, you know what, I want to go check out this old homestead to see. I'm curious if it's still there, because she ripped off that locket. She was pissed. She was furious.
She left everything behind.
She left everything behind, except for her red dress. So she goes back.
Yeah, except for the red dress and the suitcase.
Somehow that shack survived. It's still standing. It looks exactly the same. She goes inside the house, and everything is still set up the way that she remembers it, basically.
Yeah, all it is it's the same except for a nice coating of dust, really, and dirt.
Yeah.
Because there's no glass on the windows.
No,
There's just like holes in the wall.
Like the elements came into that shack and just destroyed the place. So she goes into her
what it could.
Yeah. So she goes into her mom's room, and the dresser is still there, and she opens the top drawer. And guess what? She finds the locket. And she's like, "Holy shit. It's still there."
Okay. This is something I don't understand. So if there was nobody to take care of the baby and nobody to help Fancy, who the heck buried the mother, cleaned everything out of the house, and didn't take that locket and pawn it? Left it behind.
Well, I think they wanted to take a poetic license for the song, so they just left the locket, but took everything else. Like, if they left the locket there, like, were her, like, clothes still there?
Yeah, exactly. Like, still there?
Yeah, like,
except had been blown away by the wind over the last 15 or so years.
Yeah, like, you totally could have gotten money for that locket, too.
Exactly, it was a gold locket.
Like, maybe a couple $100. Who knows? But
even with the inscription.
Regardless, the locket's still there. And she picks it up and she goes out back. Fancy, heads out back, and there's graves. The tombstones. So the mother basically was buried on the property alongside another grave?
Apparently.
Yeah, so
I missed the other grave. I only noticed one.
I noticed two graves, so we assume it's not her husband because he skipped town. So it must be like a sister or maybe her mother or another relative that was, they didn't have time to mention in the song.
Yeah.
So she drops the locket on the grave. And she has this, like, empowering moment, basically, right there.
Yeah, it's that moment where she's like, I might have been a prostitute, but I've overcome that now. You'd be proud of me, Mama.
You be proud of me? You be proud of me, Mama? I was with Errol Flynn, JFK, Frank Sinatra, Dean Martin. You probably don't know who they are. Maybe Errol Flynn, you might know him. And she's like, Fancy's my name. They don't call me Fancy for nothing.
Yep, and then she gets back in the cab.
She gets back in the cab. She's like, all right, Cappy, let's bounce. She's like, I got places to be. And they do that aerial takeaway view where like the camera pans back. And we see this huge billboard that says it's the future home of like runaways, teen runaways.
It's the Fancy Rae Baker home for runaway girls.
Nice. So she's like, you know what? I don't want anyone to go through what I have, because have you ever had to give a hand job to an aristocrat? You don't want to do that. So she's going to save young girls, basically. Like she's a role model.
She's gonna save the girls that she can when she couldn't be saved, when she was basically forced to be a runaway.
Yeah, and New Orleans is not like a classy place. It's not a fancy place, let's say.
Yeah, that part's heartwarming. Because let's be real, if she was working in a brothel, she probably met a lot of girls who were runaways, who kind of just fell into it. Their mothers didn't even set it up. So, yeah.
Mama had a little bit of perfume on my neck, then she kissed my cheek. And then I saw the tears welling up in her troubled eyes when she started to speak. She looked at a pitiful shack, and then she looked at me and took a ragged breath. She said, your paws rubbed off, and I'm real sick, and the baby's gonna starve to death. She handed me a heart-shaped locket that said, to thine own self be true. And I shivered as I watched the rose fall across the toe of